What's up, YouTube? So today I want to talk about kind of a controversial, maybe, eating style / diet, and it's called IIFYM, or If It Fits Your Macros. And I follow like tons of these YouTubers, not tons, but like a few of these YouTubers, and like Nikki Blackketter, Christian Guzman, Jasmine Garcia, Marissa Lace. I mean, I just love watching these girls and guys like go through this. I mean, they count their macros every single day and they eat based off of these numbers, and most of them are training for like bikini competitions, or some sort of competition like scheduled. They do like 8-week, 12-week preps and cuts and stuff like that. So I just kind of want to talk about my thoughts and what I think about If It Fits Your Macros. And let me first start off saying that I think all of them are, extremely self-disciplined and, motivated for all the right reasons. And I really applaud them on being able to do this. But I don't think, and you guys know I'm like all about the lifestyle, like, can it be a lifestyle? And I truly don't think, a horse is neighing at me. I truly don't think that this is something that's scalable for you the rest of your life. And maybe they have that in mind and are aware of that. But so basically what it is they have a certain number, they have macros, so a certain number of carbs, a certain number of protein, a certain number of fat that they have to hit every single day, like down to the digit. And it's pretty cool in theory, because it's all based on like science of what your body needs and how to reduce things to like drop weight at a certain, timing, like a pound a week or 5 pounds a week, whatever their goal is for a particular show or life. And they literally track everything. Usually they're using MyFitnessPal, like down to, how many grams of fat, how many servings, how many ounces are they eating. They weigh out all their food on a scale, everything. And these people have like some serious discipline. But they also, an interesting thing about this though, that I think could make it into a lifestyle, is that they can eat anything they want. Like, they could fit a donut into their macros and they can eat a donut, which I totally applaud, because it's definitely one of the few diets that I would say is effectual, or at least doable, because you don't have to limit yourself as to the types of food that you're eating. Now, you do have to limit how much food that you're eating, because if you eat a donut, some of these girls, like, that's half of their macros for the day. So they're not really eating all that healthy all the time, though some of them like do take it and do like clean eating, which that I think kind of defeats the purpose of it, because that healthy food isn't really gonna make you that fat. But so they weigh out everything and they start their day with, and I don't think there's any vegan If It Fits Your Macros, maybe, I don't know, but they start their day with like 10 egg whites or something. They just like pour these egg whites out of a carton and mix it with like zucchini and peppers, and then like a Quest bar on the side or something. And it's crazy how they just weigh everything out, and they're like, okay, I'm gonna eat this small little bowl full of stuff for breakfast. And I don't know if you've ever had egg whites, but they don't really taste like anything. So it's an interesting, it's kind of like, If It Fits Your Macros kind of reminds me of just a hack. That's how I think about it. It's like a hack on your diet, a hack on your body. Everything is pretty much just highly processed. Like, process the shit out of it to take the fat out, to take the carbs out, to boost the protein. Like, they're all about protein. They intake more protein in one day than I do in like 4 days, which I'm not hating. I'm just saying, like, that has to be the like biggest part of your day, because I guess you can't lose weight like eating carbs and fat, which I don't know, I don't really agree with. But that's like the concept of this. It's kind of like bro science-y, honestly, if you've ever like heard that. So they eat like lots of egg whites for breakfast, and then lunch and dinner or whatever they want, really. They'll go out to eat, but everything is like, if it's not on MyFitnessPal, like God forbid a meal at Applebee's is not on MyFitnessPal, they won't eat it because they don't know the exact macros in that. So it's a lot of mind games. It's like everything they have is like this fat-free, like so many different labels on everything. And I think it's really strange, honestly, how these people are so dedicated to their body, and most of them like work out like crazy, which I applaud. But it's kind of strange that they are so centered on like being healthy and in shape, but they don't like care about what they put into their body as long as it like fits their macros. Which then again, I'm happy that they don't restrict themselves to like tilapia and rice every day, because that's definitely not scalable either. But what about all this processed stuff, you know? And look, I'm not a food scientist, I'm not a nutritionist. I know a little bit about that stuff, but it can't be healthy to be putting like, you know, bacon, fat-free bacon in your body. I mean, how's that possible? There's got to be some sort of sacrifice that's happening in order to get all this, you know, like reduced macros on everything, like bread that's 35 calories and no carbs or whatever. I mean, what is in that bread? That's what I want to know. But they intrigue me so much, because it's just so interesting to see the things that they get away with eating. And it's also interesting to see, you know, their mental struggles and, you know, successes when they go into like a bikini competition. Like I said, most of these are show prepped people. Go into a bikini competition and they are lean. They are like, you know, all dried out because they like water deplete for the most part, and they, you know, eat like very little stuff and sodium down to zero their last couple days before prep, and then they're super tan. I mean, these are beautiful like human beings, like gods and goddesses. Beautiful, like aspire to be them. However, then after their shows, they binge out. Like most of them buy like candy and like donuts for like as soon as they walk off show, like off stage, I mean, you know, and then they just binge out and they gain like 10 pounds in 3 days. Like seriously, like one person gained 10 pounds in 3 days because they step on the scale for these videos most of the time. And, you know, it's all water weight, right? Because they're replenishing their carbs and their sodium levels, so they're storing water, and, you know, their body is recovering from this crazy, like, pseudo-starvation mode that it not sure what to do with. But then they go and, you know, that's fine. Like, you can't maintain like a water-deprived body for the rest of your life. So it's fine that they gain back that weight, but then they get like really depressed about it and they sign up for another show so that they can start cutting again. And I'm just like, how many times are you willing to go through this like 12-week cut to have a 7-day, like, you know, even if they don't binge, they're still gonna like, you know, gain some like weight just because of like water and food intake. So they go on these like cycles, like 12 weeks to get to show day, and then they go back to 12 weeks to get to another show day. And it's like, where are you gonna stop though? I mean, it's super alluring and, you know, quite a tease, especially for anyone who struggled with weight and wants to like be the skinniest person possible, fittest person in the world. It's you see these girls on show day, and guys even, and they are just like the body that you want, and then you watch their struggle afterwards, and after like 3 or 4 shows, they, from the ones that I've seen, and maybe this isn't everyone, but from the ones that I've seen, they are like all asked the same question, like, what is the body weight and the food intake that I can maintain the rest of my life, or at least for a more sustainable amount of time, because they just can't maintain that anymore. You know, they have, some of them will go into off season and they're like bulking, right, gaining muscle, but they also like gain 7-8% percentages of fat, you know, some even more. And I mean, the fluctuations, you know, it's fine. I understand you gotta like gain muscle as well, but it can't, like, mentally, it doesn't make them very happy. And I feel like eventually it would, you know, kind of destroy you, especially if you're anyone coming from a eating disorder background, you hit a low weight like that, you never want to go back up, and you have to go back up on If It Fits Your Macros, because you know, through this whole process, I guess I should explain what happens. Through this whole process, like, you start your 12-week prep at, like, let's say 200 protein, 200 carbs, 100 fat, right? And by the end of it, you scale down like every week based on like your weight loss, and you scale down, like maybe you probably stay at 200 protein, maybe you go to like half carbs by the end of it, like 75, 100 carbs, and like 50 fat. They keep the fat relatively high, which is strange. I guess they have to eat something. So they do that for weeks and weeks, and then they will like reverse diet back up, and that's like a whole different thing we could talk about. And you know, then they eat a little more food to like bulk up, but they never like maintain that, you know, show body, which is what, I don't know, I guess it's what you want mentally or out of your diet. And for me, the reason that I wouldn't promote If It Fits Your Macros, even though I love watching the If It Fits Your Macros, maybe I just like watching struggles, but they have great successes too, for sure. But the reason I would never do it is because, it takes up so much time in your day to like weigh out all your food. It's got to be difficult to eat like a home-cooked meal or like with someone's family, because you'll never know what macros are in it. And it gives you an unrealistic body image of yourself. I mean, you see yourself at an extremely low weight, you always want to stay that way, and no one's claiming it's maintainable throughout your whole life. So, you know, I'm after that maintainable lifestyle, and but that's just my thoughts. You know, I mean, someone, and If It Fits Your Macros, feel free to come back at me. Let me know how it's going for you.